Okay, so I'm a bit annoyed by people asking the same damn question all the time. So I'm just going to record this video because I don't have the time to write an article about it. So question is X worth it? Is Mectronics worth it? Is I don't know, like Manipal worth it? Is doing a BTech or an MS or X is doing X worth it? Okay, so you know what I'm getting at. Now my question to you, whoever's asking this question, is what do you mean by worth it? What does worth mean to you as a person? Now, for example, like to me, this mouse, this weird looking mouse, which is a Logitech Lift ergonomic mouse. I bought this for six, I think 7K back in 2019 or 2020. One of those years. Yeah, for one of those years for sure. Now, is it expensive? I mean, considering the other mice that you have in the market, sure, it is expensive. Would I have bought this if it was 15K? Maybe. I know. I don't know. I definitely would have thought twice. But to me, as a person, as an individual, this mouse is priceless in the sense that I know that I wanted this specific type of mouse because the whole benefits of having vertical mice, which I won't get into here. That's a separate discussion. But the very fact that I'm able to buy a device like this to me holds more value than the purported value of said device itself. And obviously, there is definitely a fiscal limit beyond which I would definitely think twice before even buying something like that. But for 6K, 7K, maybe even 15K, 10K maybe, I'd say it's okay. It's a good deal. I've been using this for what? I bought it back in 2019, so it's 6 years now, and it's working pretty well. Changed the battery maybe twice now, and it's working pretty well. I use it to play games, I use it to do whatever. So anyway, someone for whom 6K or 7K is a very big thing, they might not even bother. Or someone who doesn't even like vertical mice, they think it's weird. I mean, if everyone's perfectly, everyone is entitled to their perfectly valid opinion, and that is perfectly valid and fine. That is how humans are. So, but then that person's sense of worth is different from my sense of worth, simply because we prioritize different things. Working off that context, this question of is Manipal worth it, is SRM worth it, is VIT worth it, is whatever college worth it, again, what do you mean by worth it? What do you mean by ROI here? Because here you put X amount of paisa in a college. If you want to do paisa vasuli, what to you does vasuli mean? If you want to get the most bang for your buck, what defines said bang? Is it the placement opportunities that you get? Is it the placement package that you get? The opportunities along, package along? Is it the facilities that you get access to that or that you will use during college? I mean, assuming you know what facilities you want to use during college. Is it the specific teachers that you gain access to being a student of that institution? Is it brand value for some reason? Maybe being from a certain college makes you a hotshot in the eyes of your local group or community. Is it maybe you get to study in a nice place with nice weather and nice people, whatever. Maybe you're just sick of the sausage fest that's your school and you want to see some girls or something. I don't know. I mean, each person prioritizes something differently, right? So, how can I, someone who prioritizes, who places value in different things than you, give you a blanket opinion of whether something is worth it or not if I don't know what your priorities are? So, fortunately, I know people, I've said this before, but I know I am fortunate enough to not have to necessarily worry about things such as मुझे कितना package मिलेगा, because I have been fortunate enough to grow up in an environment which allows me to focus on learning as it is, reading as it is, learning as it is, just gaining new experiences. Someone who may not have had that opportunity is perfectly entitled to just running behind the money, because at the end of the day, you have to put food on the table. That I definitely agree. I mean, I'm living in America, which is the most capitalistic city of all. So, I mean, country of all. So, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. Now, again, I prioritize something different. So I will evaluate something based on my own metric. So I will say ki Manipal is good because fine, you pay what 30-40 lakhs, sure, but you get to learn so many things, you get to meet so many people, all that stuff. Someone who wants a placement no matter what, for them maybe Manipal is not a good investment, because Manipal in general, regardless of whatever branch you take, because नहीं बोले तो भी if all you want is a placement, then to just go to a local college, you pay what, like 1 lakh over 4 years, and you'll get a nice 4-5 LPA, maybe if you work hard, maybe you'll get a nice 5 LPA job. You'll do paisa vasuli of your entire college ka fees in 1 year itself. So you see the type of thing, how the train of thought changes as your priorities change. So that is what I'm trying to get at here. You need to make your priorities clear when asking just blanket questions like do I do X or not, because by understanding those priorities, you get to understand whether the decision that you make is well informed or not. Now, coming back to the college thing, so some factors that I would suggest you to look at when looking at whether X college is good or not. Good, again, being subjective and whatever. Obviously, I will admit that there is a component of brand value, but again, that is relative. To someone living in Pune, maybe MIT, in the sense of Maharashtra Institute of Technology, Kothurad is a good college. It is the one of the better colleges in the vicinity, notwithstanding College of Engineering Pune and Pune University and whatever. To someone outside of Pune, they probably don't give a shit about MIT. MIT Kothurad, because they're like, what the hell is that? Isn't it MIT in Boston or something? Why do they have a branch in Kothurad of all places? So, like, that's the thing that someone would think, right? People don't even know what Manipal, didn't even know, like, at the time what Manipal is, at least in my local circle in Pune. So they thought, why the hell am I going to some random city in Karnataka or whatever to do my BTech when I could just stay right here in Pune, which rightfully is called the Oxford of the East, right? But then I had different priorities. I wanted to do mechatronics specifically, and at the time in 2018, I think Manipal, maybe Thapar, bunch of other colleges at the time were the only colleges in India which had a mechatronics program, a fully functional one, and Manipal was one of the better options at the time. So I was like, sure, why not? Let's take Manipal. So, there's brand value. There's things such as obviously the amount of money that you're paying. So that changes the conversation into more of a, if I put X money in, will I get X money out? Which I feel is a bit of a difficult question to answer, because, like with all things, the job market is what it is. If you go into an IIT thinking that you will get a 50 LPA Microsoft job, nothing is stopping the market from going into a recession the very year that you're looking for placement. So, what is the point of going to IT and doing all those two things to grinding your ass out for 2 years and grinding your ass out for all those 4 years, if in the end you went in with the intention of getting a good placement, and the very year that you were looking for placement, recession aa gayi, everyone gets laid off, you don't even get a job. So, what's the point? So, you'll think to yourself, what's the point of IIT? But we know that there is intrinsically a point to going to good colleges, which brings me to the other factors that I will be mentioning, such as obviously peer group, location, teachers, peer group as in the type of people that you would want to study with. If you're studying in a local college, then you'd get local people, which might be fine if you don't really care. But I personally wanted more exposure in the sense of I wanted to meet different people. I don't want to hang around with the same Marathi people for my own personal growth reasons, not because I'm what Maratha phobic or whatever. I live in Sadashipet. That is as Marathi as I could probably be, whatever. So which is why I chose Manipal, because I know it's a fairly cosmopolitan college. I know that there are people from all over India. No, not necessarily all over the world, but there are people from different countries from India that do come there to study, NRIs or whatever, but they do live in a different country. So that's there. So I value those sorts of things. I value experiences such as getting to study things that I may not have had the knowledge of, even on the internet. Things like at the time 2018 में mechatronics as a subject was something that I barely got to know of before coming to Manipal. I mean, heck, at the time I probably didn't even know properly what a robot even was until I entered my first year. But I knew that, like, this is a thing that exists and I really want to do something like this. which is what prompted me to take mechatronics. So there was a certain leap of faith to be made there. But then I liked it. I mean, I would say it did pretty well for myself looking at where I am right now. Now, but then that's just me. There's facilities. Maybe you know. This is also one thing that really irks me. Why should I care about a certain lab that a university has if I am not going to visit that lab at any point in my life? Like, why should I care that Manipal has, say, an Apple lab if I know for a fact that there is no way in hell that me being, say, a civil engineer, I'm going to go there. There's no way I'm going to go there because two different fields. So then, why the fuck should I care? So don't again. So base your opinion of facilities on whether you will even access those facilities in the first place. Like, what colleges will do, they'll do lots of random bullshit saying that we have this, we have that, this thing, but then they might only be accessible to faculty or to PhD students. So what's the point of you as a BTech student even going there if you can't even access the facilities that you wanted to access, which is why you went to that college in the first place? Like, you get what I'm getting at, right? So it's just idiocy. So facilities like that, maybe there may be certain teachers that you want to study under, or maybe there's certain teachers whose research you really like. This is for those that know for a fact that they want to go to they want to do further education, like MTech, MS, whatever. um, Maybe the type of person that the type of faculty that you would get the opportunity to research under would definitely change on the college. And so if you really want to study under a particular faculty, then that completely eliminates all other factors at all, because you want to study under this guy, and then go here only. Why the hell are you thinking about other things like is this worth it, वगैरह? You want to study this guy, you want to research under this guy, at least reach out to the guy or somehow, or just to study under the guy. So you can see how, depending on how you optimize for XYZ factors, you get to different outcomes, you get to different interpretations of the same thing. Like the same, say, Apple lab, as a thing, as a facility in and of itself, will carry different value to me, the robotics engineer, and different value to someone else who's interested in, say, Apple specifically. So for them, the Apple lab is like heaven, but for me, like, why the fuck do I care about that shit, dude? So that is what I'm getting at when I say that priorities are different. And now this also applies to things such as branch, where uh, you again, it's pretty similar. What are the things that you want to learn while doing this specific branch? Do you know you want to do this specific branch because you hype, or because someone told you should do this specific branch? Or do you know that you want to do this branch because you don't want to do the other things? I would say that answering the second question is easier, because I know for a fact that I did not want to do CS typically. I knew that I did not want to do chemical engineering. I knew that I did not want to do civil engineering, or even, let's say, electrical engineering for that matter. So, bacha kya tha? Maybe like ECE type stuff, or mech, or mechatronics, and then like other fringe stuff which I had no knowledge of, and I wasn't even interested. Like I wanted nothing to do with biotech, maybe something to do with biomed, but that's something that I realized later. So that's a different discussion. Um, so that's what prompted me to take mechatronics, because I felt that it was open ended enough to warrant me, if I wanted to specialize into something different later, it gives me the opportunity to do that, because I knew for a fact that I didn't want to do anything else, but I knew that it has to be something in the realm of electrical, mechanical, maybe bio, maybe a bit of CS on the side. And mechatronics, the syllabus for mechatronics, which again is something that I advocate that you go through, you should go through every you should go through the syllabus of every branch that you're interested in. You should do that. So I felt that it was a good fit for my interests, my priorities at the time, and things that I wanted to learn, because they had robotics in the curriculum, they had electronics stuff in the curriculum, they had some stuff to do with mechanical. I saw something mechanical design, something, I was like, okay, cool. But I saw mechatronics, I was like, oh wow, this is nice. So these are the types of things that I am referring to when I say that these are things that you should look at. Don't just look at whether a thing is worth it because X placement मिल गया. Bhai, let me tell you, in 1975 or 1980, CS का शायद नामो निशान ही नहीं था. Everyone was behind ENTC. Like that was the hot field at the time. Then what happened? ये 2G 3G हो गया. Now CS boom happened. Then everyone started running after CS. Now what the hell is happening with GPT 4.0 and whatever? This computer science field is fucked, dude. I mean, I'm saying this as a blanket hyperbole statement. Obviously, there are always opportunities and stuff. No field is truly dead. But again, if you're taking a field for the hype, then please be advised that what is considered hype changes year over year. Like right now, everyone is interested in robotics quick because automation, because COVID showed the value of all that stuff. Who knows? Maybe next year someone discovers a cure to cancer, and all of a sudden everyone is into biotech and biomed and CRISPR and genetic engineering and whatever shit. So don't base your stuff on FOMO, man. If you want to do something, figure out what it is that you want to do and figure out the best path to get to what it is that you want to do. It could be different thing. Maybe you want to do robotics. What is the easiest path to doing robotics? If it's mechatronics, sure. If it is ECE, sure. If it is civil for some weird reason, sure. I mean, you are valid to you are entitled to your own valid opinion. There's no one that can tell you that what you are doing is wrong because they are not you. You are you. You need to make a decision for yourself, which really annoys me because like people, I mean, obviously this places a great responsibility upon myself because people come to me expecting me to give you answer. I'm not a vending machine, but I'm still human. I mean, I know I cosplay as a tortoise, but I'm still human in the end. So you can't. It's disingenuous for me to just tell you कि ठीक भाई ये लो without understanding where you're coming from, what you're interested in, why you want to do this thing, why you even thought of asking the question in the first place, as opposed to just doing what others told you. So there are a lot of things that go into something like this, and it feels like I'm making a mountain of a molehill. But trust me, these 4 years are fundamental to the rest of your life simply because for a lot of reasons. One being, for a lot of people, this is probably the first time they are out of their house as a free, autonomous individual. I know it was for me, and I know it would be the case for a lot of people. And so, you preferably try to be right the first time because it can be hard to get these years back. Secondly, unfortunately, due to the way our society is structured, you have to be set from the very first instance. I mean, people say stuff about yes, yeah, you can change stuff in life, okay, but are you going to do all that stuff when you're like 35 and in a midlife crisis and whatever? You could do it theoretically, you could, but the mental, emotional effort that's required to do that is something that is not talked about enough, which, in my opinion, it should, and that's which is I'm telling you, ki preferably be right the first time because so that you don't have to expend effort in correcting your mistakes later. So, I mean, I realize I ranted all over in this video, but the point that I'm trying to make is, which I hope you understood, is try to think for yourself and establish your specific boundaries. Try to establish your specific interests and things that you want to do, and then you can either take a bottom up approach where you know for a fact that you are very good at say linear algebra. You could probably find out things that require a lot of linear algebra. So it could be AI, it could be robotics, it could be statistical analysis for some reason. If you're interested in linear algebra or calculus or that sort of thing, then you figure out what sorts of fields use those specific skills. Maybe it's fintech, maybe it's once again AI, it could be power grids in electrical engineering or something. So, and then you figure out what branch is it that allows you to do those sorts of things. So that's the bottom up approach. The top down approach is, I mean, people usually do the top down approach, but it's a really fucked version of it, which they know they want to work at Microsoft, and Microsoft takes CS engineers, so they'll go to CS. I mean, sure, Microsoft take CS engineers, but they also take ECA engineers. They also take mechanical engineers for a very specific team or whatever, product design whatever. But they do take non-CS people. You just have to figure out कि ठीक है भाई, you want to work at X company, but okay, I'm not going to get into the thing of why I hate that people's life goal is to be a worker, but that's a different thing. That's my own. That's a rant for a separate video. But if you know you want to be a software engineer, right? Find out the things that a software engineer does. Not even software engineer, like software engineer is very generic, yeah. Like do something solution architect. What does a solution architect do? Do you know that? No. Then how the hell are you making a value judgment on a certain branch? Do you know that solution architects can be hailed from different branches as well, because there are certain skills that are learned irrespective of the branch that you come from. Obviously, having CS background is useful, but solution architects require systems engineering, which is a totally different thing. But anyway, I digress. So let's say you want to. I'll take a completely different example. Let's say that you like planes. So this is a method that I usually recommend for people that struggle with the bottom up approach because they probably haven't accumulated enough knowledge yet, and they just want something. So it's easy to start with stuff that you know. So let's pick a thing that you like. In the sense, is there a thing in the world that you like? Maybe it's planes. Let's take planes. I mean, obviously there are different types of planes, but let's take planes in general. Now, what is it that you like about planes? Is it the way they are designed? Is it the way they're able to fly even while weighing thousands of tons or whatever? Is it the way their avionics, the electronics that go into the aircraft, the way they work, and how your GPS and all those sorts of things work? Is that what interests you? If so, then try to figure out. Let's take avionics. Sure. Now, who takes care of avionics? Maybe there's an avionics engineer. Maybe there's some sort of electronics communications engineer type role, which has a role in avionics. So, again, this is where you probably look up online and see avionics engineer jobs or whatever, and you'll see that they list certain skills. So now, or you could also look at people who are avionics engineers and see what they did. So then you know that you want to do something as an avionics engineer. Now, what is the best part to do that? What did this person do to become an avionics engineer? Maybe this guy took ECE and then they did an MS in aeronautical engineering, and then they became an avionics engineer. Maybe this person did their BTech in aeronautical engineering and then interned at Boeing or whatever, all these airplane companies, which allowed him to gain access to those sorts of opportunities. Maybe this guy was a computer science engineer, which did a bunch of research projects in that field, and so they got in based on the strength of their portfolio alone, like their research portfolio alone. So you can see even how even the same outcome can have three or four widely different parts depending on how you approach it. So again, nothing is set in stone. You cannot predict the future. I mean, you can estimate it, sure, but you cannot predict the future. There is no way in hell that is happening. So take as much info as you have right now, figure out what you want to optimize for, or what is it that you want to prioritize over or else, and then you figure out, okay, this is what I need to do in order to actualize this goal while optimizing for these specific factors. And that's where you get the plan of action, which will help you make a more informed decision as to whether this plan of action involves, say, this college, or whether it involves these certain things at said college. That is what will make said college or said branch or said thing worth it. You can't just give blanket statements without understanding the internals of said entity that you're trying to make a value judgment on. And so this is how you do it. So yeah, that's it. I don't have anything else to say on this. But basically, just think for yourself. Do your due diligence, and don't just please stop asking me questions like this again.